Hey, it's Lizette from Crochet Designs, and this leaf pattern goes with the hat you see here. It will be linked in the description below. Okay, I'm going to do the entire leaf just for any parts that might have been confusing in the pattern. So we are starting with row 1, do a slip knot and chain 16. Then starting in the second chain from the hook, so here's the hook, first chain, second chain, we're going to make 15 slip stitches. So starting in the second one, slip stitch all the way down, and you'll have 15 at the end. Okay, so I did the last one, and then right there is the slip knot from the beginning, the little tail. For row 2, we continue on the other side, so you're gonna turn it this way, and as you go, we're gonna crochet over this tail end, so you don't have to weave that in later. So we're gonna be working into the other side of the chain, the first chain 16 we did. This is just that other side of those chains all the way down. Now what I do to make sure that I'm starting in the right stitch here, right? So I start counting backwards from the end, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, right there. And I'm doing this because I know some people who don't do this often have a hard time knowing where to start, because you have that slip knot there. You know, some people might work into that. So you just got to make sure you're in the right beginning spot. Okay, so I do my first slip stitch, and again we're just going to use that, cover that tail end as we go. So first slip stitch on the other side, then it says to chain 2. We're going to half double crochet in the same stitch, so where we just put that slip stitch and chain 2. So we're going right back where we were in there. And I'm just going to lay this here so I can crochet over that. And there's my half. Then 7 triple crochet. Here's my next chain going in there. I definitely recommend using a stitch marker, so I have this in that half double crochet, which is the first stitch for row 2 after doing the chain 2. Here's my 7 triple crochet. Now I'm going to do 4 doubles. You can see my tail end is almost completely covered. So just continuing in the next stitch and do 4 more doubles. Here's my 4 doubles, then a half double crochet in the next one. Then you should have 2 left, so there's 1 and 2. We're going to slip stitch in each of those. So now you reach the tip of the leaf, and it says to chain 1. And then you're going to do 2 slip stitches continuing on the other side. So now we're going to be working in the other side of the 15 slip stitches you did in row 1. Alright, now we're going to continue on the other side after the chain 1. And you're going to do 2 slip stitches. Here's my next stitch right here. Then 1 half double crochet. Four doubles. Okay, you can see the 4 doubles are done, and going into that back loop of those slip stitches is what creates this nice little line in the middle of the leaf. And then just continue with 7 triple crochet. All right, and then for the last one, you're going to do 6 half double crochet all into that same stitch right there. This is actually the chain 2 from row 1. So you can see my stitch marker from the beginning of this row. See the little gap? This is my chain 2 in the beginning of that row. Okay, so 6 half double crochet into that. It might seem like it's not all going to fit, but it will, and it'll fill in this gap of space here to line it up with the beginning of the row. Okay, so you can see all 6 are all together in there. And then we have our chain 2 here. Okay, so this is actually that slip stitch from before, from the beginning of this row, right before we made that chain 2. So slip stitch, chain 1, chain 2. Okay, so we're going to skip that slip stitch like the pattern says, and we're going to join the row with the slip stitch to the top of the chain 2, and this is actually the stitch from doing that half double crochet at the beginning. So you're going to go into there. So again, this is a slip stitch, this is the chain 1, chain 2, and the top of that half double crochet. We're going to join right in there. Okay, and then it creates a closed, and you see it all fit in there nice and flat. We're going to chain 2 starting row 3. Starting in the next stitch, you're going to do 8 double crochets. So we just did our slip stitch into this one. So this is our next one. So this one's already been worked into right here. 8 double crochet. There's the 8 done. Then 4 half double crochets. And then 2 slip stitches. Then you're going to chain 1, then you're going to chain 2, and you're going to skip the chain 1 from the previous row. So this next one here that looks like a stitch is actually the chain 1 from before. So we used this stitch just now. The next one, the one next to it, is a chain 1, so we're going to go here. So again, we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip that chain 1 from the previous row and do our 2 slip stitches. This is why I like to try to keep my slip stitches pretty loose, because sometimes they're kind of hard to get into. I had to do that off camera. Alright, so that's what creates that little point, is doing that little chain 2. Alright, we're going to continue with 4 half double crochets. And then 8 double crochet. And then 6 single crochets, which is going to bring us over that little curve there. Okay, then we're going to do a last stitch, which is a half double crochet, and that's actually going to be worked into that slip stitch from the beginning of the row. So here's my chain 2. You can see a little gap there, and I'm going into the slip stitch at the base of that. So there's my half double crochet, and then we're just going to join the row where my stitch marker was, which was in the first double crochet right after the chain 2. We'll slip stitch that, and then we have your leaf. It might curl a little bit as you're working if your tension is not consistent. It's going to get sewn onto the hat, so it'll smooth out. If you have any other questions, you can message me here, you can comment, or any of my social media is fine.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?